Sri Swayam Swamikal and his guru Judge Swamikal. Hinduism defines various forms of sainthood. In certain sects, even it allows people to live full family life and take sainthood. But of all, it is considered that Avadootha form of sainthood is the highest. Avadootha means nirvana. It does not only denote the physical nirvana but also a mental determination not to have any interest over the worldly things, affairs that includes the dress. One may find that many saints still exist today in the Himalayas braving bitter cold. But only a few existed down south of Vindhyas like Sadashiva Brahmendrar, Judge Swamikal, Swayam Swamikal. Of these, the era of Sadashiva Brahmendrar dates to several centuries back, but Judge Swamikal and Swayam Prakasha are those who have lived in our times within the last 100 years. Sadashiva Brahmendra's disciple Swayam Prakasham life history and his gracious life, birth and childhood. Swamikal was born in a village Kalpattu, a village at a distance of around 16 km from Viluppuram and close to Tirukovilur in Tamil Nadu on 28/11/1871. He was born with 3 brothers and 2 sisters. His parents were Sri Ramaswamy Sastrigal and Smt. Janaki Ammal. Swamikal's Purvishrama name was Krishnamurti. During his childhood, his father moved from Kalpattu to a small village Aduturai on the banks of Kaveri in Tanjore district. During those days, there was a craze for English education among the people as it was easy to get government jobs in British India with English knowledge. Hence his father educated Krishnamurti in an English medium school at a place called Thiruvidaimaruttur and Kumbakonam. Though Krishnamurti was getting educated through English medium, he also showed equal interest to learn Sanskrit to read the Vedas and Puranas that were available in Sanskrit. He completed his matriculation education at Trivandrum. While attending the school education, he also attended separate classes to understand the Upanishads, Sanskrit verses, Puranas, Itihasas etc. Job and his wish. Ironically, the essence of Vedas, Puranas and Upanishads greatly influenced Krishnamurti to develop his inner desire for sainthood rather than any government job. Unaware of this, his parents were praying for a good government job for his son Krishnamurti and also a girl to get him married. However, Swamikal got a job in settlement department of the government and was posted at a place called Salam. Though Krishnamurti was workaholic and hardworking, often he got into deep meditation whenever possible and followed it as a practice. In the meanwhile, he also got bonus and increments for his hard work. It is the duty of the parents to find a matching bride for their son after they get proper education and a decent job. Hence, his parents started searching alliance for their youngest son Krishnamurti. But Krishnamurti turned down all the requests and conveyed his wish to become a saint. This angered his parents and brothers and they told him to pay back the 3,000 rupees per that they had spent for his education and later he can go as per his wish. They imposed such condition because in those days, 3,000 rupees was a very big amount and it will take years to save such a big amount. They also thought that it will be a long period to make Krishnamurti incline towards the marriage. Krishnamurti accepted their condition to their surprise but in turn also proposed one condition from his side that they should not prompt him for marriage till he repays the money. After this, Krishnamurti determined to repay the money to his brothers at the earliest so that he can leave for taking up the sannyasam, saint. He started to save money in the bank for repayment and sannyasam. He also got transferred to Chennai, Madras at this time. A small beginning towards sannyasam. At this time, a very good marriage alliance was proposed to Krishnamurti's parents and they sent their eldest son to talk to Krishnamurti about the alliance. when his brother came and informed him about the alliance. Krishnamurti didn't talk to him for 4 days and made him to wait without any interactions and interfaces. Irked by Krishnamurti's behavior, his brother was about to pour a pot of cold water on Krishnamurti's head. At this time, Krishnamurti told his brother to chant Purusha Suktam mantra and pour, which angered his brother further. Krishnamurti smiled and told that he need not pay him any more money as the condition laid by him was breached by them. However, he signed and gave the passbook to his brother, which had an accumulation of around ₹500. Krishnamurti took this incident as a symptom for his sannyasam and resigned his job to start a pilgrimage to a holy place in North India, Kashi. Struggles at Kashi. After resigning the job, Krishnamurti reached Kashi and became a student of Sri Dakshinamurti Swamikal. He learned more about the Vedas for 3 years. During this time, Krishnamurti's health also deteriorated. The ashram informed his parents about the same and they rushed to Kashi and requested him to come back with them. Krishnamurti informed and assured them that he will come back to their village on the 96th day from then. His parents heavy-heartedly left Kashi without knowing what was in the store. Though Krishnamurti assured his parents that he will return on 96th day, his mind was restless and was thinking more about sannyasam, sainthood. He requested his guru to give diksha, which is a ritual process to recognize a person as sannyasi. In Hindu rituals, sannyasam can be granted only by a guru, and that too by following proper rituals. His guru smiled at him and told that he should get the blessings and permission from his parents to attain the sannyasam, which is mandatory. Krishnamurti wrote a letter to his parents to grant him the required permission for becoming sannyasi. But his parents asked him to come to his native first, and hence Krishnamurti decided to go to the village in person to get their permission. The 96th day incident. When Krishnamurti reached Avadootha, it was exactly the 96th day, the day promised by him to his parents at Kashi that he will return back to the village to see his parents. But it was so sad that Krishnamurti could not even go to his house straight, as he heard that his father was dead on that day morning, and hence he rushed to the burial ground. Though Krishnamurti reached the burial ground, he refused to participate in the last rites. He told the people around that he has a detached mind and cannot take up any activity that will exhibit his attachments towards relationships. People were surprised to see the determination of Krishnamurti. Struggles to get sannyasam. On the 13th day death ritual of his father, Krishnamurti requested his mother and brothers to grant him permission to take up the sannyasam. But they were trying to console him on various factors. At this time, his brothers, Narsimha Ganapadigal and Guruswami Ganapadigal, got jobs as teachers at a place called Ganapettai, that fell under the then Pudukottai Maharaja kingdom, as Veda teachers. Krishnamurti's family migrated to the new place, and Krishnamurti, who had already perceived himself as sannyasi, didn't even take any vehicle but reached the new place only by walk. This is mainly because, in those days, a sannyasi was not supposed to go by any palanquin or any vehicle but is supposed to go only by walk. After reaching the Ganapettai, Krishnamurti started following the rituals mandated for sannyasis like Bhiksha, wherein a sannyasi is not supposed to earn or work for getting his food, but he is supposed to beg with others to get food, and is also supposed to take only a small quantity of staple food without even salt. People at Ganapettai noticed the determination of Krishnamurti and started giving respect like a sannyasi only. His mother and brothers started realizing that Krishnamurti had high determination to become a sannyasi. But Krishnamurti was also determined to obey the words of his guru to get the permission. Hence he was roaming in The, Ganapetai, village like a lion roaming inside a cage with rage. 1 year passed by. Krishnamurti's mother and brothers realized that it was not so easy to divert him from taking sannyasam, and hence they accepted his request but asked him to find a suitable guru first, who can grant him sannyasam, as Kashi will be a distant place for which they were not ready to send him for getting sannyasam. Krishnamurti was so happy to hear this and started the search for a guru who could grant him Diksha for sannyasam. Judge Swamikal and sannyasam. Krishnamurti heard about a Mahan, Judge Swamikal, who was staying in Madurai that time. Judge Swamikal got this name because of his earlier profession as a judge. He resigned his post and took up the sannyasam following Avadootha school of ashram. He was well respected for his strict disciplines and his determinations. Krishnamurti reached Madurai and met Judge Swamikal and detailed about his thoughts and his preparedness to take up sannyasam. He also requested Judge Swamikal to take him as a disciple and provide Diksha to take up the sannyasam. Being a Mahan, Judge Swamikal realized the fire inside Krishnamurti. He also felt that this Krishnamurti had the required potential to follow Avadootha and sannyasam. He inquired about Krishnamurti's family members and asked him to get the permission of his mother on the spot and can take up the sannyasam before his mother only. He also gave the instructions that need to be followed before and after taking the sannyasam. Krishnamurti walked 72 miles to reach his mother. At that time, he was wearing only a loin cloth. He did a pradakshanam, going around his mother for 3 times and fell flat namaskaram before his mother. When he got up, the cloth fell down due to his guru's blessings and he stood there as Avadootha Swamikal and he became Shri Swayam Prakasha Saraswat Avadootha Swamikal. He also took an oath that, henceforth, those who offer food to his bhiksha will be his mother, his guru will be his father, silence will be his wife, his disciples will be his children. The exact date he took his sannyasam was Tamil year, Vihari, month Ani, and it was a full moon day. He was only 28 years old then. Swamikal as Avadootha sannyasi. Avadootha ashram is not an easy approach for sannyasis. It may be a way that was used to the public people living around Himalayas where several saints perform their penance without dress and people are used to it. But following such a practice in South India cannot be imagined at all. In a society where dresses play an important role and half-naked itself is considered as a nuisance. After taking up the sannyasam, Swamikal planned to visit the temples around and first decided to visit Nerur Sadhashiva Brahmendra Saraswati Swamikal Adhishtanam. Adhishtanam is a place where a saint is usually buried. Swamikal used to walk very fast. Avadootha sect does not require its followers to take daily bath and perform puja like other saints and hence Swamikal was perceived as a lunatic by the public at many places as his body was covered with mud and dust. Some people at some places considered him as a person creating nuisance and hence threw stones at him. Swamikal did not have consciousness about his body and wounds and used to walk ignoring all oppressions and take food either by bhiksha or with the fruits available on the way. Swamikal visited Nerur and worshipped Sadashiva who is considered as Guru of Judge Swamikal. After this, he visited the temples in Tanjore, Kumbakonam, Virudhachalam and Chidambaram and reached Thiruvannamalai. At Thiruvannamalai, he met Ramana Maharishi. Both of them performed penance together at the hilltop under a mango tree. Ramana Maharishi mentions about our Swamikal as a Vairagya Purusha, deterministic and dedicated saint. Reference from his table, Ramananda Swarnagiri. Swamikal liked the ambience of Thiruvannamalai as it is like a citadel of saints in South India. At this time, His relatives learnt about his presence in Thiruvannamalai and started visiting him, like the same experience of Ramana Maharishi. Our Swamigal could not bear the visitors' influences in Thiruvannamalai and hence decided to move to Kolli Hills in Salem district of Tamil Nadu. Kolli Hills are considered to be mysterious hills equivalent to The Chaturaigiri in South Tamil Nadu. Our Swamigal began his walk towards Kolli Hills and was arrested by the police at Salem for creating nuisance, and an advocate who happened to be his devotee appeared for him and relieved him from the clutches of the arrest by detailing the court about the sanctity attached with the Avadootha ashram. After this, Swamigal stayed in Salem for few days and proceeded to Kolli Hills. At Kolli Hills, Swamigal noticed various sannyasis in deep meditation across the hilly areas and reached a place called Seenthmangalam, located at the foothills of Kolli Hills. Swamigal at Seenthmangalam. Seenthmangalam was a big village wherein Hindus and Muslims formed the majority of the population. Swamigal faced hardships when he was walking in the streets of Muslims and they pelted stones at him. One of the stone hit the throat of Swamigal very badly. He never bothered about the wounds, but the set of people who threw stones at him died within a short period due to their internal rivalries and by getting wounds in their throats. This surprised many in the village and they realized that a big Mahan is among them. The news spread like a wildfire and thousands of devotees thronged to get his blessings. Though Swamigal wished to perform meditation and get into a deep penance, the devotees' crowd grew larger day by day and hence he moved from Seenthmangalam to deep forests inside Kolli Hills to get his loneliness and privacy. At that time, a lady was found murdered in Kolli Hills and some people created rumors that Swamigal was the reason behind the same. This frustrated our Swamigal and he decided to end his life through Nirvikalpa Samadhi. But true devotees got him back to Seenthmangalam and made him to stay at a place called Sannyasi Karadu, a small hillock near Seenthmangalam. Swamigal at Sannyasi Karadu. This small hillock is 1 km away from Seenthmangalam. It also had a small cave in it. Devotees created a small tent around the cave for the devotees to sit there and get a glimpse of the Swamigal. Swamigal used to get into deep penance for several days inside the cave without food and water. The then collector heard about the incident happening at Sannyasi Karadu, that a man was doing penance inside a cave without having food or water for several days, and he felt that it may a case against humanitarian laws and hence ordered the cops to break the cave door and pull him out to provide the food and water. When the cops broke the door, they found that our Swamigal was in a sleeping posture but remained like a dead body. They pulled him out and thought that he was dead. But our Swamigal got up as though he was woken up from deep sleep. Surprised by this, the cops and the collector fell at his feet to pardon them and bless. A small dossier of miracles. A lot of miracles were said to have happened during this period that even the older people around Seenthmangalam had witnessed. They used to be young in those period. A few samples are provided below. Once Swamigal was captive inside a Muslim's house. Though he was locked inside, the Muslim house owner saw Swamigal in the streets when he went to the market. Shocked by this, when he rushed back to the house, he found Swamigal inside the room smiling at him. The Muslim fainted and later requested Swamigal to pardon him. Once a person tried to give meat to him, the same got converted to flowers. Some people intentionally sent some prostitutes to seduce him, but when they reached near Swamigal, they could not bear the tejas of Swamigal's face and surrendered before him by falling at his feet. Their karma desires were burnt at the glimpse of Swamigal. Once Swamigal went to Nerur, but the boatman refused him to enter into the boat as he was without clothes and started to sail. Soon the boat was into deep troubles and they found a Swamigal rescuing them by standing on the water. After rescuing the boat, he crossed the river by walking over the water. Many people in the boat who opposed to Swamigal fainted on seeing this. A snake used to pose before him while he was in meditation. But this panicked the devotees. Swamigal learnt about this and looked at the eyes of the snake, and to the surprise of many, the snake left very calmly and never to be seen thereafter. Swamigal used to visit various places, and once in Tiruvayuru, a Brahmin deliberately invited him for lunch and then insulted him, saying that he should live only in the burial ground. Immediately Swamigal left the house without eating anything, but the roof of the house got into the fire. Swamigal chose to live near to the society to preach the people and make them live happily. Many could not realize this, and some realized only later. Digvijayam. After spending close to 2 years in Sinthimangalam, Swamigal started his pilgrimage around India. He went to various places alone and stayed under the trees and ate the food whatever was offered to him. At some places, people hit him as he was naked. Swamigal accepted all the good and bad experiences as one. He went to Kashi, Haridwar, Brahmakamalam, Badarikachram, Prayag, Ayodhya, Himalayas, Dattatreya's place, Karnar etc. Swamigal did many wonders like flying, walking over water, disappearing at one place and appearing at another. When he was in meditation in Badrinaranam, Lord Dattatreya appeared in his dream and asked him to build a temple for him in southern India, which was not there at any place down south. At the same time, Lord Dattatreya also ordered Nanananda Yogiraj, who used to live in that place, to accompany Swamigal and reach Sinthimangalam and help to build the temple and later attain Mukti in Kolli Hills itself. Lord Dattatreya is considered as Guru of all Gurus, an incarnation of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. All the gods in the world have got inheritance within Lord Dattatreya, e.g. if one wants to worship Goddess Lakshmi, she is in the heart of Lord Vishnu. Vishnu is again a part of Lord Dattatreya. Similarly, if one wants to worship Goddess Parvati Devi, she is part of Lord Shiva and Shiva is part of Lord Dattatreya. Hence, by praying Lord Dattatreya, one prays to all gods and all gurus of the entire world. When such a great Lord Dattatreya ordered a yogi and a Swamigal in Himalayas, both realized the importance of the temple and both came to Sinthimangalam to start the work for the temple. As it is the wish of the Lord himself to establish a temple in down south to remove the differences between Shaivites and Vaishnavites, work started by itself and moved by default. One devotee got the idol. The specialty of this idol is that in all other places, the center face of Lord Dattatreya will be Vishnu. But here it is Shiva. Around the temple, a small dedicated place for Swamigal was also built so that Swamigal decided to get into Jiva Samadhi in that place. The first Kumbhabhishekam, dedication or commissioning of temple for worship, happened on 29/5/1931 and hence the name of the hillock was called as Dattagiri. Several disciples helped Swamigal in getting this done. Swamigal's gratitude for his Guru. During this period, Judge Swamigal, the Guru of our Swamigal who gave Diksha to our Swamigal, attained Samadhi at a place called Nathamalai in Pudukkottai district in Tamil Nadu, around 130 km from Sinthimangalam. Some devotees brought his body to Pudukkottai to build his Adhishtanam with the help of the contributions from the king of Pudukkottai and rich people of the kingdom. In due course, people slowly forgot about the place and also stopped puja. Our Swamigal learnt about this through his supernatural power and went there one night to find the place of his Guru. He also created the instinct among many good people in Pudukkottai about this. Hence suddenly many people started talking about this and tried to find out the place of Adhishtanam, buried place of Judge Swamikal as it got submerged under various plants and bushes. Some people came to our Swamikal in Sinthamangalam to help them to show them the place. Swamikal pointed them in a map about the place. Soon, the activities picked up to renovate Judge Swamikal temple and the Kumbhabhishekam happened on 31-05-1936. He also sent home his prime disciple, Sri Santhananda Swamikal to Pudukkottai to take charge of the Adhishtanam. Sri Santhananda went to Pudukkottai and undertook Mauna Vratam, oath of silence, for 1 year and ate only the neem leaves and did a penance. Goddess Bhuvaneshwari appeared in his dream and asked him to build a temple in that place, and now people of Pudukkottai witness the famous Bhuvaneshwari Ashram in Pudukkottai with Judge Swamikal Adhishtanam. Mahasamadhi. Swamikal thus left no stone unturned to spread the good messages. He repaid his debt to this Guru and also gave dikshas to numerous disciples. He created a good institution without any inclination for fame, name, power or money, a rarest of rare quality. Swamikal also used to be great Ayurvedic expert. He used to prepare herbal oils for the use of poor. Our Swamikal realized during late 1940s that it is time for him to leave the body. Great saints know about this beforehand itself, e.g. Lord Raghavendra is said to be living for more than 700 years, though he left his body some 3 centuries back itself. That is the power of great saints. They treated body only as a mean and not the end for achieving the yoga and mukti. It was 1948. Swamikal got a paralytic stroke and also a high fever. He had an unbearable pain and his body used to shiver. Devotees called the specialist to check up his body, and when they diagnosed, the body would be normal, and immediately after the doctors leave the place, the pains continued. He told his devotees about this and said that he wished to shed off all his sins of the body by undergoing bodily pains, and he did not want to carry the pains due to doctor treatments. It was exactly December 29, 1948. Swamikal's breath started going inwards slowly and got immersed in his body only. This is the highest form of Samadhi, and Swamikal did that. Before that, he created a Sannidhi, place, before the Dattatreya statue for burying his body as Jiva Samadhi. On 30/12/1948, his body was buried. On 8/1/1949 Mahapuja was performed, and on very next day Aradhana was performed. Even now, every year, the Aradhana is performed in a notable manner. Even today, people believe that they can feel Swamikal's presence in this place through the smell of Vibhuti, holy ash.